So hello everybody, thank you so much for joining us live, or if you're watching on replay, thank you for coming back. I'm joined here this morning, or this afternoon should we say, with Saskia Kremer, and we are going to deliver something that has the extraordinary power to just let go of control sometimes and to actually really trust in yourself. And I'm going to let Saskia explain, but I know that you are going to take so much value away from today. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Saskia.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for organizing these extraordinary days. I'm really thrilled to be part of it, to see everything that is happening, and for creating this space for change, for transformation, for people to really take on that next level in a time where I think we are so challenged to rethink everything. As one of my clients told the other day, he said, I have a toolbox, but for some reason, I think we need, in this time, we need to rethink our toolbox. We need to reevaluate, and we need to upgrade and step up. And I think these 15 days, 14 days are such a value that is given to people to be able to dive in and to rethink where we are standing, what we can do, where we need to step up and change and make it happen. Because rather than sitting back and waiting for life to get better or for the storm to calm down, we need to learn. And that is one of the things that makes me so passionate, to learn to dance in the rain.
Oh, I love that.
Is one of the biggest. It was the thing I saw, a quote I saw when I just came to Ireland, and that was 4.5 years ago. I had left my home country from one day to the next with my 2 young children to create for them an environment of safety, of peace and quiet, and a more natural environment as well. And I had never been in Ireland before. And one day my mom said, you need a break. Go to Cork, take off for the afternoon and just enjoy yourself. And I was walking into one of the stores, and I saw a quote: life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but to learn how to dance in the rain. And I think more than ever, this is what we need right now. We need to learn how to navigate. We need to learn how to dance in the rain. So it's not just to bear with the rain, but it's learning to celebrate life in the midst of the storm. And I think that's where we are. Right. Yeah, that's where we are globally. And that's why I'm so happy to be able to, I hope, to bring some of that joy into what we are living right now, because it's already challenging enough.
Yeah, no, you're going
to give a little bit more of an introduction about myself. I have been a nun for over 13 years, working alongside Mother Teresa, who has taught me some major lessons in life, which I would say I start to value more and more as the days pass. I've been traveling with her around the world, taking care of the poor, basically giving all. And I think I had forgotten where I was standing. I gave all, but I forgot that if I don't fill up my own cup, I'm burning out. So beginning of 2000, I was completely burned out, and I went back to my home country. I had no clue where I was coming from and where I was going. I'm a daughter of expats, so I'm used to a lot of traveling. But by the age of 30, I had no clue where I was coming from and where I was going. So I said, okay, I want to go back at least to the country of origin of my parents, because I'm born in New Zealand. So I wanted to go there, to find my roots and rediscover what I was doing and where I was coming from. And then I decided to leave the missions, and of course I had to provide my own living. So coming back, joining the missions is one, but coming back in a world that had completely changed was a whole different story. And I remember one of the recruiters, because I was looking for a job, and one of the recruiters told me, you don't fit in a box. So your experience, your studies, they don't fit anywhere, so we don't have a job for you. Okay, but what next?
Yeah.
So I decided to create my own company because I didn't want to lose all the experience that I had.
Mm.
So I created my own business where I really wanted to put the human person at the center.
Yes.
And so I started to recraft jobs for people with disabilities within companies, within corporations, to allow them and to search with them where the possibilities lies. And that is one of my biggest, I think my biggest gifts is to be able to to look at perspective, things from a different perspective, and create something from where everyone says nothing is possible, and to really help people step up in the places where other people would say it's not possible.
Mm.
4.5 years ago, I moved to Ireland, and I, in a country I didn't know, I recreated my whole business without a network at hand, and I had to make it work because I was responsible for 2 little children. And so giving up or it not being profitable was just not an option. And I started to work with professionals and entrepreneurs who are successful, but who are reaching their own glass ceiling, and who are blocked to take the next leap within their business. And so that is where I want to tap into today, because we all have our own glass ceiling, no matter where we are at, no matter where we are at. So, please feel free. I'll look at the chats as well.
Yeah, you really are just a beautiful being. Thank you for sharing that. How brave and courageous is that? And I get how you would have felt when you came away, because everything that was now no longer. And where do you start with that? And as Adam, one of our other speakers, said this morning, sometimes life forces you into that situation and you have no option. And when you're tested like that, you know that the only person that can ride you forward in any given situation is yourself. And so you learn to trust yourself, you learn those new skills, you learn who you can trust in I call it my circle of trust. So it's just just inspiring story, and I just love you, I love the story, I love everything that you stand for. So I'm going to leave you to it, because you don't need to hear about me. I'm going to leave you to it. And are you going to be using your screen, Saskia?
Sorry?
Are you going to be using your screen, or are they just going to use?
No, I won't be. I really want people to have the experience of what we're going to do.
Cool.
And so I'll keep the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat for the questions, and let's break through.
Good luck. Not that you'll need it.
Okay. So yes. So we all set our goals, create mood boards, create smaller plans, bigger plans, maybe even create the day. And then yet, at the end of the day, how often do we need to conclude or evaluate that we haven't really done what we wanted to do? Is that something you recognize? Let me know if that is something you recognize. Planning and yet not being able to reach the goal. It is as if it's, it's almost there, but you just can't grab it fully. Kind of frustrating. And I hear you. It was my frustration for a long time. Planning, setting out goals, creating a big vision, and yet not being able to grasp it or to make it into reality, or to really make it happen. And what I would do is I would double the efforts, work even harder, and then hit the wall and come to the conclusion that, again, I wasn't able to reach it. Do you recognize that? Constantly, okay. So until I understood that there are different layers to breaking through my own glass ceiling. There are my personal convictions, my personal affirmations, my personal, those little monkeys talking and saying, oh, you don't deserve it, or you are whatever, you're not worth it, or you're just a scam, or whatever, or who do you think you are? You're not worthy, or you're not enough. All these little voices, they're on the personal level through what we have received. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she wanted to, she was very talkative. She was very able to talk, to speak, until she would get a mic and needed to stand up in front of an audience, and all of a sudden was stumbling and not being able to formulate one proper sentence. And we were talking, and she realized that when she was little, she stood, she was playing in the play yard at school, and the teacher would tell her in front of the whole class or all the kids that she was no good and she would never be able to reach her goals, basically. And as soon as she understood that it was there, she could leave it, let it go, and she was able to take the mic without any problem. So that's the personal level. Then there is the ancestral level. What are the convictions of our family system? What is there passed on to us that we carry with us that are limiting beliefs, limiting our own belief systems? And then there is the society, how do we do it? How do we navigate? What are the values within society? And I think that at the moment, that is something which is really important to look at. I hear people say, yes, but how can I thrive within a global pandemic? Am I allowed to thrive? And that is so important, because it keeps us down. I hear entrepreneurs say, yes, but how can I possibly make money in a time of global pandemic, where so many people are suffering, where people are losing their jobs, and where the economy is not doing well? And so where are we? We need to look at, okay, where is this society, the convictions of society, where are they holding us back? So I think these three levels are vital to see, okay, where are we having our barriers to step up? Are they personal? Are they coming forth from our own private history, our ancestors, or are they coming from society? This is how we do it here. The whole, without going into the discussions of whether it's good or not, how do we feel if we do differently from other people? How do we feel about, for example, and it's not an issue whether it's good or right, it's just to give an example. How would it feel if, for example, you would not wear a mask going into a shop? And I'm not here to tell you should do that, but that is this to make you feel the pressure of society. This is what we are told to do, and if we don't adhere, what happens? And that is the same, and I take this example because it makes it very tangible. And if we want to step up in our life, in our business, if we want to thrive in our business, we need to take into account that those barriers are there. We constantly hear that society, that economically, we are in a very difficult time. So how can we step up to overcome those barriers, to allow ourselves, to give ourselves the permission to thrive? So what I would like you to do in the first step to overcoming your own barriers is to take the worksheet, and for the sake of the exercise now, and to lead you through the transformation, to take one thing that, for example, this week, take it for this week, make it small, you notice you have been putting off. What is the number one thing that you want to achieve, but you keep putting off? And don't make it too big. It's just to help you through the exercise, and then afterwards you can take your time and expand, or take another example. Do you have it? Do you have that one, maybe task or project or activity that you want to do that you keep putting off? Okay, perfect. Okay, definitely, yes. Okay, so that is one thing you keep putting off. Now I want to give you, I don't know, I want to give you an experience today. Who is familiar with applied kinesiology or muscle testing? If you can just, then at least I know a little bit. I see you know, yes, yes, yes. Okay. So what I want to do is teach you a little way to be able to navigate through this. So you have the thing you keep putting off, where you keep procrastinating. I want to teach you, without going too much into the explanation, because we don't really have the time for that, I want to give you the experience of how muscle testing is working. Yeah. And a very easy way of muscle testing is I will step up, stand up, and help you to test, so that you know. So I want you to step up. I can't see you, but that's fine. I want you to stand up. Nobody sees you, so you're in a safe space. And I'm going to turn around and make you close your eyes and imagine you are in a place you really love, in a place where you feel at ease, relaxed, you love the environment, be it at the beach or in the mountains or in the forest or even in a bath. I don't really care, as long as you place yourself in a situation where you feel at ease. And why I'm turning is because I want you to see. And if you are in that place, ask yourself yes, and feel what happens to your body. Yeah, are you standing still? Are you inclined forward? Are you inclined backwards? No matter what happens, just observe what is happening. Yeah. Do you have that? Is that clear enough? And if nothing happens, that's okay. Don't worry. Okay. So where is your yes? If it's forward, if it's backward, doesn't really matter. Yeah. If you have that, where is your no? Okay, I'm swaying backwards. See what happens to your body. It's a way to learn to listen to your body and feel what happens. Where's your yes? Where's your no? So if you have that, I will go through some different questions and check what happens to you when I say, I am afraid to shine. I am afraid to shine. Feel what happens. Are you going backwards? Are you going forwards? Are you going to your yes side? Are you going to your no side? And if nothing happens, that's okay. Place yourself back into that environment you love, you feel relaxed. Okay? I am afraid to shine. I am afraid to fail. And see what happens. I am afraid to fail. I am afraid I am not capable. I cannot do it. And just observe what happens. I am not enough. Where there is no judgment, just to observe what happens to your body. I deserve abundance. What happens? I am worthy. I am worthy of success. What happens? I am aligned with my goal. The goals you have set, I am aligned with my goal. What happens? And the last question, it is good to feel good. Okay, does your subconscious allow you, is it good to feel good? Is that okay? Yeah, and once you have the answers for these questions and tick the boxes where it's yes, where it's no, or rather tick the boxes when it's yes, Are you all okay with that? If someone could, if you could just let me know if that is clear enough. Yeah. And if all the negative sides are no, and if the positive sides are all yes, you can take this on the 3 levels. Ask yourself the question on the 3 levels. From the personal perspective, are these okay? And from the ancestral levels, from everything that I have received through history, from my parents, my grandparents, is it still okay? And what about the societal, the part from that comes from the convictions from society? So then you get the 3 different layers. Okay. And if there is one of the affirmations, the statements that doesn't resonate, let's say I'm afraid to shine. If that is the case for you, please stay out of the zone of judgment. It is what it is. And I think that is something which is very important, is the testing of these statements. You only get a true answer if you remain in that zone of non-judgment. And why is that so important? It's because then your unconscious, then there is no judgment on top of your unconscious belief system. But if we are putting a judgment on top of it and say with our mind, oh yes, of course, oh no, of course I'm not afraid to shine. But what we want to do here is tap into to that space where our unconscious belief system is telling us something different than our conscious mind, because there is where our barriers are often lying. And if we are not, if you are not sure whether these affirmations or whether your testing is reliable, maybe ask someone else to do the testing for you, because they don't have the same apprehension or judgment on where you're standing right now. And sometimes I know for myself, I mean, this is my daily work. I know for myself that if I'm in a situation where I feel stuck, I need someone else. And of course, you know, with my brain, I say, no, there's no problem. But my unconscious belief system tells me something else because I'm stuck. So then I need someone else who is not in that same space as I am to test for me, to get rid of my own judgment. Does that make sense? So let's take one of these affirmations. One of the affirmations where you would like to work on. And we can test, okay, what is the one that we can work on. But let's say, okay, one of the affirmations you that doesn't resonate. Take that question or take that statement and ask yourself the question, what is the price I need to pay or someone else needs to pay for that change to happen? What is the price for this to change? And again, there's no right or wrong. When we are in a transformation, we all need there is a price to pay because it's change. So something has to go for something else to come in. And it is important to be aware of it, that there is a price to pay. And if you know which price you need to pay, you can make a more founded, a deeper decision. You can make a deeper choice. And often, to push you a little bit further, what is the price for change? Often it is beyond, it is not the first answer that comes up. And that is very important. So take the time to sit with this, because there may be something underneath that is where there is truly the clue. And if you want to know if you're on the right track, ask yourself the question with the muscle testing: is this the answer to the question? Without judgment. Because there you can go into the layers. Is this part of the answer? Or is this the main cause to the answer? Is this the right direction in which I need to direct myself? To overcome the barrier. So that you can identify, okay, and go deeper each time, where is the root cause of why I'm afraid to shine, or I am not enough. And there is where you identify the different layers. What is the price for change? And who pays that price? In other words, where am I breaking with the affirmations and the convictions that I have received, or that I have made my own? If, for example, I have grown up with I am not enough, where am I being unfaithful and not loyal? By changing that around and stepping into that belief that, yes, I am enough. To whom am I being unfaithful? Yeah, and I get the goosebumps there. To whom am I unfaithful, unloyal? Because if I pick up an affirmation like that, I am not enough, or I cannot do it. And if I want to change that and step into the power of I am enough, it is breaking a bond with either my own convictions, the convictions of my lineage, my ancestors, or even breaking with the convictions of society. And that is the responsibility that we are taking up. That is where we are stepping in our leadership. I today decide to change and to break that bond with something that is holding me back. If I have lived in poverty, or if I deserve abundance. Do I deserve abundance in a global pandemic? If I allow myself to do so, I am paying the price, and there I'm getting emotional. I am paying the price of being unfaithful, not loyal to what society is telling me today, because we are in a global pandemic. And that is the price I have to pay if I am stepping into allowing myself to be abundant, to live in abundance, and to be worthy of my success. You see what I mean? So there I am breaking the bonds that hold me back and that put me in a small box, and where I need to take ownership of that unfaithfulness. And that is the price I'm paying. Does that make sense? And if we are looking on the other side, if there are any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. If we are looking at stepping up and breaking through our own glass ceiling, can we ask ourselves the question is failure allowed? Because that often is something that is holding us back. Is failure allowed in my personal belief system? Is failure allowed in my history? Is failure allowed in society? And who or what does not allow this failure? It's all there where we discover that we have that bond, and I see the question how to break the bond. I will come back on that later. It is important to identify that bond, because there is the power of breaking that bond. And if you know who or what is holding you back to step up and to live your life the way that you are called to live it in your mission, because we are all here with a mission, no matter how big, how small, how whatever, it is your mission. So it's big because it's your mission. So there is no big or small there. We need to identify who or what is holding us back. And we can break that bond if we are clear on who or what is holding us back. Take the time to sit in front of that obstacle or that person who is holding you back. Because that is something that is from the past. And that is holding you back, that is blocking you to look at your future. So if you take the time to sit and maybe simply take two chairs, put the chair of the bond, put it in front of you. To sit in front and to make that connection. And there, make the statement and ask, not ask, say, make the statement, I know why you're holding me back. I know why I have taken this up to and I made it my own. I am giving it back to you where it belongs, because it's not me. It is not mine. And if it is a person, if it is your a parent or a grandparent or what, give it back, because it's not you. And you give it back to the person to whom it belongs. And you say, I know that this is coming from a place of love and good intention. And now I decide to do it differently. So please look at me lovingly when I decide to do it my way. Yeah, it creates a distance between you and the one from whom you took up this conviction. It allows you to take that distance and to give you the space to do it your way. And then you can turn around and look at the future in a way which is no longer blurred by the past or the past conviction. Yeah. Does that make sense? I don't think I ever made a bond. This is huge because, like you say, we made a connection and say it to ourselves. Yes. So it is acknowledging, and even if you have never made a bond, I would love to dive into that, but I don't think we have but that would be something. Everything depends on how that is, because we all have links, but that would be something more to look into on a personal level. I have done this recently, and in talking to others before, it was a real eye-opener, as no one else saw what he was making me feel, but actually we have managed to come through the other side. Yeah. So it is, and it's not so much, and that I think is something very important. It's not so much about someone having forced a certain conviction upon you. It is the way you have made it your own, and you made it your conviction. Yeah. And that is where, people can say, oh no, that's not how I intended it, or that's not what I meant. Don't go there. It is the way that is of no importance. It's the way you perceived it and made it your own. Someone may not have had the intention to tell you you were not capable, you were worthless, but you, in your vulnerability, you picked it up as your truth. So it's not necessarily a bond with someone else, but it may also be my own conviction. I have created my own conviction that I am not worthy to be successful. And so I can also put that conviction on the other chair and break that bond with that conviction to be able to turn around and say, now, from now on, I'm going to do it differently. And so it's also our internal dialogue that will, sometimes we are our own worst enemies, and we have internalized so many things from the outside that we are our own number one blockage. And so we can do the same with all the convictions that we have made our own. Yeah. Okay, this is really hitting home. I'm really happy about that. So you have touched something there essential. And I needed to stop seeing it that way myself. Yeah. Often it's that the first thing is to restore that dialogue with ourselves, and to allow ourselves to become free of all those limiting beliefs and convictions that we have created ourselves. So take the time, and you can go through these 3 steps at any time where you feel that you're bumping into a wall, and make it, and go deeper each time. And I know, I mean, there are so many self-help things and things you can do by yourself. And maybe I've seen people say, wow, this is really hitting home. And be mindful of that. And so also these shifts, please be mild to yourself. Be mild to yourself. Take the time to let this sink in. And I know this is a lot. This can be very intense. So, and I wanted to give you this experience of how you can break through your own barriers. Now, if this is something you're like, okay, I have a question, I'm bumping into something that I really want to shift and to move on to, please feel free to reach out. I have opened my calendar, and in the workbook there is a link you can click, so you can book in a 30-minute free session, and we will be able to go through maybe a personal question and help you through it. Because sometimes it's easier to get a hand in doing navigating through it. So please feel free to reach out. I have opened a few slots to help you and to give you a jump start. So please feel free to avail of it, and let me know where you are at. I have 2 people from my past I shall be doing this exercise with. Yes. One of whom is my late mother and my ex. Yes, this is a very powerful thing to do with ex relationships, where I know it will really shift me from some real blockers. Yes, absolutely. I have the link. I will put it in the replay post. Wonderful, Martin. So yes, of course, exes, former colleagues, bosses, things that are holding you back, people. Do we always use these questions, or others? Well, of course, I have picked a few key questions, But of course, as you can imagine, we have been working through this for half an hour, but even maybe a little bit more. Sorry, Kelly, if I went over the time.
I just had a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I can see the people that have obviously joined us this afternoon, and I know for some people it's new opportunities. So it's taking themselves outside their comfort zone. And I wondered if this would be an exercise that would be really good for that, to help them to find that belief, so that bond with themselves.
Yeah.
Would that help as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's the first thing, and that's why I say keep it small.
Yeah.
Please keep it small. Don't reach out too far too quickly. Keep it really small, because it's through those little steps that it will help you to make the little steps. If you are making it too big, too fast, you will get lost. And so really take one little thing, and that's why I started off with take one thing that you kept postponing this week. Because if you are going into your big dreams and everything, you get lost and you lose focus. And so, but if you learn to navigate through the little things of today, what do I keep postponing? I saw someone, the accounts of the year. Okay, what is behind it? And from there on, you can navigate. And of course, I'm only showing a tiny piece of what is all behind it. And I'm doing that on purpose, because otherwise you get lost.
Yeah. No, I get.
So know that there is way more than what I've shown you today, but this is just to give you a jump start and to see if this is something that helps you move on and break through your own barriers. One step at a time. Yeah, as Martin is saying, one step at a time. So I think that is essential. I was inspired by your story. How were you able to start your business with such a pressure that you can't fail? It's not a pressure. It's how one step at a time. One step at a time. Every time I was faced with major issues or major changes, I would say, is by taking it one step at a time. When I left the missions, thank God I didn't know everything that was in front of me. When I started my business, I took it step by step, and the way will show you what is the next step. And the pressure that I can't feel, of course, I have my bumps and I have my failures. There are the things that I would have done differently. I'm in business for 14 years now. There necessarily things that I would have done differently if I would have known them. And one of the key things is, when you look back, when you evaluate, never judge yourself from the place you're in now. It's that is very dangerous, because the information you have, the knowledge you have today, was not the knowledge you had years ago. So when you look back, be mild in your judgment. And if I say to start my business with such a pressure that I can't fail, of course I fail. But I turn failure around, because for me there is no failure. For me, there are lessons in life, and there are opportunities to learn, which each time I can improve. And if something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that it is not valuable. It is that I need to look at a different way of doing it, of using it, or maybe a different way of presenting it, or a different way. So it doesn't mean that because something is not working, that I should put it completely aside. I can step up and say, okay, how am I going to turn this around? Because it doesn't seem to work. Yeah. So that is a different perspective. For me, there is no failure. There are ways to learn. There are ways to improve and to fine tune. And on the way, you are learning. If I would stop because I cannot fail, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't wake up in the morning. So if I look at it from a perspective of a lesson to be learned, a way to improve myself and to increase my own performance, then I can just go ahead and see what happens. It's a big adventure. Being in business, being in life is a big adventure. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? And otherwise, if there are any, for people who are looking at watching the replay, feel free to pop in your questions, and I will have a look at them anyway. So and if there are any other questions, please let me know. And otherwise, I think we will leave it for today. Thank you so much for sharing, Sir. How can we find out more? On which level? If you want to know more, sign up for the 30-minute, and we will have a talk. And avail of the 30-minute session. You will have me 30 minutes for yourself. So please feel free to reach out.
It's hugely inspiring, Saskia, because I think what it is we've had, is it 7 days now of learning from different speakers on all different matters of subjects and different ways of breaking through and breaking down those barriers. But I really like this because actually having a bond with, I've never done that before because I've never thought about it, but actually having a bond with yourself is the most powerful thing, because when we marry, we're giving our oath, aren't we? When we do things that really mean something, like signing a legal document, we are signing a bond to that person. My thing was I want to have a healthier eating, and I keep going, oh, I'm tired, I'm busy. So I keep breaking that bond, but I hadn't thought about it like that before. So this week I am going to make a bond, a commitment to myself. So you've inspired me massively with what you've said, and from reading these comments, yeah, Leah, love the bit about not judging your past, so your past self from the eyes that you hold today.
Yeah,
because
I think it's crucial, because otherwise we are becoming those, I mean,
yeah, so unkind to ourselves, aren't we, as human beings sometimes?
Yeah, and it's it's like looking at a child. I mean, you can't look at a child with the eyes of an expectancy of them being 25 while they're 5, and giving them the responsibility of an age that is not appropriate. Why are we allowing that for our children? And why don't we allow that for ourselves?
Yeah.
And we are learning, we are in a learning, we are on a discovery. Life is a whole discovery. So if we keep, and each day we are learning. I cannot even judge myself today where I'm now on something that I have done even yesterday.
Mm.
Because I'm not in the same space, because I'm not in the same emotional state, because I have learned already from yesterday till today.
Yeah. Mm.
So there is where that space of non-judgment is so crucial, so crucial.
Oh, you're really pretty there with the sun. It's all, oh, it's beautiful. It's like,
Ireland, it has been raining for days.
Gorgeous. We've got
Always been my worst critic. Yeah, definitely to change. I don't let my girls do that to themselves. So why is it okay for me? And there, I think it's very. It really touches me. You're saying that, because why children learn from us. They are the biggest. They are the biggest mirrors in our lives. So if we can learn from our children, it is so crucial. And they're also inspiring us to look at ourselves differently. And they are urging us to change in a rapid way. Because if we don't change, if we don't take up that responsibility for ourselves, they will follow us. They don't listen to what we say. They listen to what we do.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing it for your own sake, do it for the sake of your children, because you want to have them grow up in a different way. So there are biggest masters, teachers to
they sure are.
change. Yeah. Yeah, I have family members remind me of the mistakes I've made in the past. That will affect you in the way, and I hear you. I hear you. I had someone remind me of some of the things I had done just yesterday. But how to come to terms with that? You can only come to terms with that, and they will stop doing that the day it doesn't affect you anymore. If you are at peace with it, they won't come back and trigger it again, because it won't be triggered. They will keep repeating as long as you on that part have something more to do. Yesterday, and that is where you also see, you can also evaluate, okay, how much does it affect me? I know the lady who told me something yesterday, I was like, I mean, who are you? I'm okay with the choices I made. I have learned my lessons. I'm okay with it. So it didn't resonate with me anymore, because I don't have any problem with it. It was what it was, and I'm fine with it. So I can put it aside, and there is no trigger anymore. So as long as people are coming back and it triggers something in you, it means that you have some more work to do. Be mild to yourself. Be mild to yourself.
Yeah, being kinder to ourselves and actually having that respect and love from within is so important, Janice.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people only affect us or trigger us where we have not yet done the work fully for ourselves. So, and when do we step into our own leadership is exactly in that spot. Because what we have a choice.
Yeah.
And saying, yeah, people keep coming up with that. People keep blaming me for my past. Of course, we all make mistakes. We all learn. But as long as as long as I don't take the ownership, we can say, okay, people do this to me. I'm still the victim. But if I step up and say, okay, this is where I need to move on, I need to make peace with myself, nobody will be able to disturb you on that part. And that is where we have to step up. There is where our choice lies in, I am the victim because I am portrayed like this, or I'm reminded of my mistakes, or I take ownership of my mistakes and I move on. And there is where the change is. Yeah. We can only let people get to us if we haven't dealt with it ourselves. Yeah. And allow them in. Yes. That's our open door for people to keep pulling the different cords.
Wow.
And as soon as we have let go of these cords, cut them, we are no longer, and there is no more interest in being pulled by the strings because the fun is gone. Yeah, but that is where we have to, that has nothing to do with someone else. That has all to do with myself. Because I am allowing them in because I haven't made peace with that part of myself. So instead of saying people are taking me on my mistakes or are putting my mistakes, smacking them in my face, you say, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to see this, because this is the place where I need to step up and turn things around. And then it's gone. Then you can very peacefully say, thank you. Yeah. This actually made me feel lighter. I can't explain it, but I thank you for your explaining. Yeah. And let it go. Sometimes it's enough. Don't try to overthink it. Sometimes it just needs to be touched so that it sees the light and it can evaporate. So if you Nicola, if you experience that feeling lighter, let it go. Let it go. That's the moment where you let go. Because if you grab it back and want to overanalyze what has happened, you're going to pull it back. So now it's time to let it go and say thank you. Thank you for what the lesson you have taught me today, and let it go. Let it evaporate. Nothing more to do. Yeah? Very good. So, yeah, perfect. So, I think we'll leave it at that.
Oh, wow. You just gave me a real goosebump kind of light bulb moment, because in coaching, personal development, a lot of the time we say that we hold on to emotions and we wear, you know, kind of, Janice will relate to this, we wear these kind of like bags on us and we have to kind of unpack them, but actually they're not there in the first place. If we allow ourselves to forgive, to allow that to those moments, and we work on them and we let go and we almost release anything like that, then there are no bags on our shoulders. It wasn't there in the first place. It's only there when we attach something to it. And this is what Saskia is saying, is you don't have to have those big heavy weights on your shoulders in the first.
Yeah, and I think what is important there too is that sometimes we think, or we have the conviction that letting go is working very hard.
Yeah.
Of analyzing, understanding, and sometimes it's just to allow it to come to the surface, seeing it, truly seeing it, acknowledging it, without all the details or understanding or whatsoever, but simply looking at it and say, okay, I have seen it. It is okay. Thank you. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, you're right. We apply too much thought, and it's just let that moment, just letting it go.
Yeah, and there's where the hard work comes in. We think we need to make more effort. We think we need to do more to improve it or to whatever. And sometimes it's just accepting that it is there, nothing to do, no hard work, but acknowledging and being grateful. I think that is very important too. Being grateful for the opportunity that it has come to the surface, instead of starting to fight. If people mirror us, we have the tendency to start the fight, to justify, to show that we were right or wrong or whatever, and we start the fight. We take out our swords and we will justify, we will explain, and we start working, instead of saying thank you. Thank you for bringing it to the surface. It hurts me, it saddens me, whatever. I wish I would have done it differently. That's it. And then it can go. It's the sand, in your hand.
Yeah.
How much sand can you hold in your hand when you want to hold it? It's very, very little. If you open your hand, you can hold way more. So letting go is opening our hands to be able to receive even more. If we want to hold on to it, it becomes less.
That's very powerful.
Let it go. Open the hands and let it go. Yeah.
I think we should all just think of whatever that may be for us while we're in this moment, and just literally just let that go. It is energy, isn't it? Energy in us. It can be recycled within the universe and go on to do good elsewhere. Let's just literally just let that just sit, let it go, and just be happy. Embrace that space to fill with love, to fill with light, and to fill with anything that you want to, that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Saskia.
You're welcome.
We have a few people that are very emotionally, but they've allow things to just go.
Yeah.
And I've known a couple of these people for a long time. So I feel very, very blessed to have you here right now, and to have shared this moment as well with everybody watching, or even on replay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that is exactly the reason why I give the opportunity for people to avail of the 30 minutes, because it can shake a lot, and that is perfectly fine. But I don't want to leave people in a place. So if you feel you need extra support, please reach out, because I don't want to have anybody stay in a place where they feel alone or not supported.
Martin's put the link in here now, and we'll make sure it's in the Facebook feed.
Yeah.
As well, and for our VIP attendees, we'll make sure that you have it in your login details. Wow, well, I feel lighter as well. Amazing.
Very good. You see.
You are just beautiful. Thank you so much, Saskia. Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. Thank you for organizing, Kelly.
You are very welcome. I hope to have you back again on our next event.
No worries.